All right, 2023 is right around the corner, and if you don't have a solid bulletproof strategy in place to grow your business, then you are going to be left behind. I truly believe that now is the greatest opportunity for growing your brand online, growing your business, and utilizing some of the tools that I'll be sharing today in implementing a strategy that allows you to really get clients, whether you're a real estate investor, real estate agent, or you're a marketer. This strategy is pretty much universal, and how you apply it is, it's totally up to you. So I have seen this put into effect. I'm in the trenches daily, and there's been some changes in the market. Not necessarily just in the real estate market, but there's been changes in the market. And if you don't have something like this or in some way, shape, or form in place, you're going to be left behind. And you may be seeing this already. And hopefully this video adds a ton of value to you. So it's my intention with this channel to pretty much give away everything I got, not holding anything back. So this isn't going to, be something where I'm just kind of vaguely sharing some information with you. This should be very, very valuable. So really what I'm seeing, right, and I have these kind of bullet points or, checkpoints here that I want to go through. But we can just start with number one, which is that ads should be used to create awareness. Now, keep in mind, I have had a marketing agency for the past 6 years, and I've managed over $800,000 worth of Facebook paid ads for real estate agents and real estate investors, as well as a few different, e-commerce online consulting businesses. And so I've really been able to see the landscape shift of ads, and I'm still now seeing it even more. And so, this first point here is really kind of the domino that knocks everything else over, right? Because when I first got into this digital marketing game, ads were the holy grail. And I think in some way they still can be, right? Just depending on what you really want to create. And ultimately, everything goes back to what you want to create. So I'll be sharing with you a little bit about what I'm planning to create and my perspective, because, ultimately, if you want to have a, big organization and a sales team and people, learning all these different kind of sales strategies and techniques and closing people on the phone and doing all this follow-up and stuff, then that's one kind of thing that you may want, right? I lean more on the scale or spectrum of being a digital creator, where I see content and video as really a mechanism to build trust at scale. And if it were up to me, which in some way it is, I'd rather just make my content, add value, build trust at scale, and allow people to, self-serve and self-browse my products or my courses or my services. And so, at some point, yes, there's going to be there may potentially need to be additional people, but, I think the example of people that are really implementing this are the influencers of today. The biggest YouTubers of today, although they still have people and infrastructure in place and teams, they don't have sales reps going out there and selling and trying to convert people, because the content, the brand, the trust is the sales mechanism. And so this is where I lean on the spectrum. Like I said, everyone's going to be different, but I've seen it take effect in my own life and even with clients that we've implemented this with. If you can create content online that builds trust, and you have a mechanism in place to systematically drive new people and traffic to it, and you've got products and you've got things lined up the right way, then to me, it's like this Zen, lifestyle that I personally just enjoy, where I don't have to worry about all these people or all these things, or if somebody books a call, I don't feel like I got to have this script and try to convert people and deal with all the stuff that I think a lot of people deal with. And this is done through my brand and through content and longer form education. So when it comes to number one, right, we're working with real estate investors currently, and we are getting them booked appointments with motivated sellers. Now, we're running ads, right, to automatically get these sellers into our funnel, into our pipeline. And what I'm beginning to see is that even though this strategy works really well and our clients have made a ton of money, I really think there's like a fork in the road here between what our services that we provide and ultimately what our clients are going to either need to put into place or figure out some type of solution for, which is that you can generate as many leads as you want and all of the strategies work, right? Cold calling does work. Door knocking does work. Whatever business you're in, right? All the strategies work. Postcards work. Mailers work. I mean, all these things work. But really, the question for me is not really what works, right? It's what's most efficient and what's going to give me the most leverage in my business, right? And so with ads, if you're just using ads to create direct response, you're going to make money and you're going to make money fast, right? Because you're getting leads, people need a solution potentially, and they decide to work with you through enough volume and just conversations with these leads, right? But as you look into the world, if you look at the top YouTubers, if you look at the people that are leading their spaces, their brand is ultimately what is creating this level of awareness and trust. And sure, they may have people on the back end doing, sales and tactics and things like that. But really the peak of the market, like the Mr. Beast, Logan Paul, Jake Paul, Andrew Tate. I don't even know if I'm allowed to say these people on the internet, but and I'm not saying that I even agree with any of these people, but the people that are creating massive amounts of views and traffic and content, right? They all have lower ticket, kind of medium ticket digital products, right? And the reason being is because I think they know what I'm saying, which is, not that they know, but that they believe or kind of align with that spectrum, which is like, I'd rather make content one to many and let people come to me and buy on their own than me just not make any content, have no trust in the marketplace, drive leads, and hire people to convert them one to one, right? So that's just my personal perspective, is that the people that are creating content and are really the most well-known in the world, whether we agree with them or not, their content is ultimately breaking the value barrier of if you should buy with them or not, right? So if you've watched my channel and you've watched me for a few hours at this point, maybe I've broken the value barrier. Maybe you just fully trust me. You're looking forward to my videos and just, you feel like you know me, right? And so, yeah, could I have generated you as a lead through some funnel and manually chased you down to try to get this amount of time, from you, right? Yeah, it would be really hard though, right? And so this is what goes back to the first point, which is that ads should be used to create awareness. And so there's still a way to capture emails and phone numbers and still make people leads. But ultimately, and I've always been this way, which is funny because now I think the market's just, continuing to show me that, not that I don't say this from a perspective of oh, look at me, but I've been right all along. And that's been an interesting lesson that I've had to learn in business, is that I'm not right in everything at every time. But back in 2018 or 2019, I was building, which is crazy that that's 4 or 5 years ago now, I was building VSL funnels for real estate agents. And it was all about video education. And instead of just taking people through a simple form, you have to educate, right? And back then, no, I don't think many people had done that, and I still have it. It's in my course. I showed exactly how we did this. And, it's funny because now 4 years later, people are responding about the course and wanting to sign up. So it's kind of ironic that 4 years ago, I was kind of when I would tell people about this concept, they would be like, yeah, I don't want to do the work and da-da-da-da-da. And People just want this done for you type thing, and it's great, but no one's going to come on this video and do this for me, right? So I just believe that if you're a true business owner, either you or somebody on your team has to lead at the forefront of content, because it's just, how are you going to create maximum leverage if you're just always, you or your team is always trying to convince people one-to-one that they should trust you, or whatever it is that you want to describe being able to potentially like buy a product or service with, right? So when I say that ads should be used to create awareness, what I mean by this is we can use simple digital ads to drive people to content, or at least have content on the back end. And I'll walk you guys through this kind of design here in a bit. But that, just so you have that in mind, right? So instead of thinking of ads as like, okay, I need to get ads to get clients, which is part of it, and you will, we need to really make the system sustainable, right? Which is only going to come from content and brand and education. You can only, you're not going to be able to, if you're watching this channel, unless you're some, billionaire or something, like, you're not going to be able to outspend other people in your market. Like, even if you're doing significantly better than people in your market, like, outspending people is not really the solution, especially if you're like I said, a smaller business owner. Outspending people just isn't going to work, right? So you're going to have to leverage more other elements, right, of creativity and video and content in order to really get the people that you want. Because, for every dollar you spend, someone's spending $1 or $5 or 10. And so we have to become aware that this is where the market is going, and this is, I think, across all industries. So really the way that this looks in my mind is that you should, if you want to run ads, right, ads should be like a booster that enables you to get awareness, people into your funnel. So you should be getting an email at the very least, and I can show you guys how we do this, but you should get people into the funnel. And instead of just, you going after them and trying to convert them, which the majority, whether it's, Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or Google Ads, I mean, especially if you're in real estate, right? I was thinking of this in my head the other day, where it's like, how long would it take for me to make a $10 decision, right? If I want something or I don't, I mean, it's pretty much, a few moments. Like, do I want it? Yes. Okay, I'm going to buy it, right? Something that costs $500, $1,000, okay, maybe you spend an hour thinking about it. Maybe you just buy it right away, right? But when you get into houses, right? Am I going to go and buy $500,000 house like right now, like just off the top? No, right? There's so many things I would need to know, right? And same thing with selling, right? And so whether that's done through your content or through the prospect's mind, there's a process that's just naturally happening, right? And so either the simplest way I can explain this is either you don't control your prospect's process, right? Which is them going through it in their mind, them asking a friend, maybe they're Googling, they're going to look for the information that they need to figure out if they should make a decision, right? And so either they control that, right? Which is like them just going and browsing and doing what humans are going to now do, which is have the freedom to browse and check things out on the internet, or they're going to follow your process, which is you breaking down all the building blocks that gives them the information they need to make a great decision, right? So if you can do that at scale with video, like the people that are going to reach out to you and book calls or buy your products, whatever you're doing online, I mean, it's going to become way better. And like I said, this is just my perspective and my truth. So if you can now run ads to drive people into this kind of mechanism where you're educating and informing them, now they're going to reach out when it's time. And yeah, some people will kind of take the information and just, I guess, run with it. But I mean, that was going to happen either way, right? So I just like the idea of, instead of me, like the way I could think about it, right, is either I could hire a salesperson, right, and train them up and, get them all ready to start selling, and whatever that would cost in commissions or whatever those things are, and just start driving leads and have them have to, deal with all that lead flow, right? But what if I started creating more content, right? And putting more videos out there, and people were basically selling themselves through me presenting like this. To me, that makes way more sense. And I just think energetically, it's way more efficient because, the less people that are involved, the better, right? In terms of efficiency, the more you start adding people, the more complex things get. And if someone has no context about what it is that I'm doing and they just fill out a little form and they're just trying to get them on the phone, like, while they're doing that, I'd rather have hundreds of people watching my videos, right? Thousands of people. So ads should be used to create awareness. You can still collect their email, but you want to now take them into a content/education funnel. And if you run these ads with little to no expectation of like conversion now, even though it's going to happen, your perspective is going to totally change, because instead of thinking, okay, I got this many leads, no one's responding, people are going to respond and be ready, right? Some people won't need a ton of content, but the majority of people are not going to buy now, or they're going to browse the content, and that's going to really do a lot of the heavy lifting, right? So you can think of ads as automated prospecting, and your perspective will forever be changed, right? So instead of thinking of you having to go out and prospect, you having to go create these conversations one-to-one, these ads and these videos, these are prospecting automatically. So I don't see how you or why you would even do like any sort of manual prospecting unless it's a very like high caliber type of client or something at like an event, or you just, you're finding someone online that's a very specific type of person, then yeah, you're going to need to reach out to people. But if you want to get like a more generalized base of your audience, like I just don't see why you wouldn't be creating content, right? And so the content in the video is your sales, right? So every moment you guys are watching me, right, I'm building trust, and you guys are getting more data about who I am, right? And the goal of this content is to really break the value barrier of, hey, who's this person? Do I trust them? Do I like them? Do I want to work with them? What do they have to offer, right? And so the more high quality content you have, the faster you can break this cycle, right? And I've been able to break this cycle in as little as one day multiple times. So I've had people call me, dude, I'm on your YouTube right now. And they call me as if I have any sort of awareness that they're watching my video. And they're like, hey, I'm watching your video right now, and you're talking about this, and can I do it this way? And I'm just like, literally like have no idea, right? So that doesn't happen when you're running an ad trying to get people through a sales funnel, right? Sales is sales, and sales is great. But, ultimately, I think really great content and education should do the majority of the sales. And this is why whenever I'm talking to people in my industry, they always ask, well, how many calls are you booking? How many appointments are you setting? How many this? And I'm like, dude, I don't know. Like, I'm not in that game, and maybe one day I will decide and I'm not saying there's not a value to knowing numbers and things, because I do know my numbers that are important, right? But the way I see these first 6 years of business is I've just been getting paid to figure out what direction I want to go. At this point, I know pretty much all the different ways that I could grow and create content or products and things like that. And so I don't like the and I've done it. I've done the grind of waking up and having these calls booked and people don't show, and they're deciding to, I still, after like 3 or 4 years of living here, the schedule for the trash has never I can't figure it out. It's not like the same time every week. So I've talked to people on Zoom and they said they can't hear it, so I'm just going to keep continuing. So trusting that the mic kind of shields it out. But, I don't want to be in the grind of 8 calls a day with people that just filled out a quick form, and I got to go through all these methods and try to convince them. And I just don't want to do that. That's just not me. And maybe, who knows, right? That's just my truth. I'd rather have what I have, which is, I get 3, 4, 5 DMs a day, and people are either watching my content or whatever. And, then we talk and chat. I kind of see if they're even a fit for what we're doing. And then, if they are, then I book a call. Like I just don't see why I wouldn't scale up that approach versus, okay, you got all these people on the calendar. They have no clue who they are, completely cold. And I got to just try and get them on this thing. Like, I don't want to do that. That's not me. I'd rather do this. I love doing this. So that's kind of my approach, and that's always been my approach. And so part of that is community and building trust through longer form video education. And so think about it for yourself. There's 2 scenarios. You're seeing an ad and it takes you straight into a sales funnel. It's like some lead magnet or something. Before you know it, you're in a VSL funnel, and then, it's scheduled to book a call, right? And maybe this is just me, right? But, the majority of people that are aware of what these things are, like, you kind of know what you're getting yourself into, right? Versus if you organically, like, search something up on YouTube, or maybe you get, like, download a lead magnet and it just takes you to, like, a straight value-based video or something, and you start exploring their stuff, the dynamic has totally switched. Right. And so I like leaning more on this side, and you can still add the practical elements of like how many calls are you booking, how many this, how many that. But in the sense that I'm referring to, sorry, that was loud. The sense that I'm referring to is just this grind that I was in for a period of time where it was like just getting people on my calls, and I was just breaking even with ads, and it just felt like I was just expending so much energy, and I just didn't have any leverage. And that would be the best way I would describe it, is that paid ads are great. I think paid ads can be even greater when they feed an organic like mechanism that allows the client to educate themselves and leverages you being on video. Like, I think that's just way better, because when they're ready, they're going to send you a message, and you can still proactively engage with these leads and stuff and give call to actions. But like I said, I mean, the thought of me, and I'm a young guy, and I'm figuring this stuff out too. So I don't claim to be like, oh, I've got this stuff all figured out. Maybe my mind changes later. But at this point, right, after being in business for the last 6 years, like, for me, I'm at the point where it's like, I'd rather have one, like, I've been, sorry, super loud. I had watched one of the mentors that I started watching their content early on was Sam Ovens. And, Sam Ovens' new business model is like this idea of like 7 figures in, where, he makes, I don't know, 500K profit a month with 3 people. Like, I like that. I don't want this huge, old, time-sucking thing that's just making me manage more people and all this stuff, And I've had VAs, and I'm aware of that model, right? But I just think that if you're watching this, and you're tired of the old model of, going out, getting clients, doing all this stuff, and you feel like you're great at video, I mean, I don't think there's a better opportunity to build trust and just leverage yourself fully. So, I mean, I'm already in that where I don't really, all the clients I got last month had come from video and content. And so for me, I don't see why I would go and reach out to people and try to convert them when I have all this knowledge, right? I really feel like that's the key, is that not even that I have all this knowledge, like I'm some know-it-all, but like what happens when I reach out to people, or I've reached out to people in the past, right? Like it's like I give away my power, right? In some way, because I'm reaching out to them and their guard's already up, especially if it's a very salesy message, which I have sent in the past, because, you know, I've tried to do all these things that people teach. And, you know, and then they don't see this, right? Which is this video where I'm taking you through and showing my expertise. And so I'd rather have someone see my expertise, and, you know, from there they can decide, they can decide, right, what they want to do or not do. So that's just my personal perspective. So this kind of number 6 kind of goes into what I've already been saying, right? But, you know, why would I manually try to convert leads one-to-one when I can invest the same energy to automatically convert or warm up prospects at 1 to infinite for no greater cost, right? Like, I'm here, I'm making this video, and if this was a presentation or something, I mean, I could be doing this to one person, or I could be doing this to 1 million people. So, you know, to me, software and media are the only things that are infinitely scalable within reason, right? And so for me, I don't see why I wouldn't lean more into where there's more leverage. And yeah, still you're going to need to, you know, follow up with some people, and you can't lose the whole thing. But I just think there's a whole new business model and business creator that's being created. And to the traditional business person, it may seem like it doesn't make sense, or it doesn't have all these things. And I love the blend of both. But like I said, if you look at the top creators of the world, and the people that have the most following, and the people that are actually, you know, out there, right, that you consume their content, whether they're business people or fashion people or fitness people or entertainers, you know, they're focused on media, they're focused on press, they're focused on leverage, right? So I think that there's a new kind of breed of business where you're going to be able to just focus primarily on media and content. And, you know, yeah, you can have some salespeople and things like that. But ultimately, like, your content is your product, right? And your content should be equivalent, right? And your product should be just as good as your content, right? So for me, I think just this whole illusion that was created before, which was just like spend a lot of time on the marketing and the ads and all these things up front. And when you get in the back end, it's kind of just you just kind of sold them on the marketing and sales of it. But when you get into like the product of it and it's actually dope, you know, then I think that's the things that people stick to, right? And so if your content's great and you're driving people to it and they love it and they're commenting and it's like, it's good, and then your product's even better than that, right? Like, I just don't see why you need all these little pieces in place, right? And I think, like I said, this is from my perspective, so take with it what you will. But a lot of these businesses where they have people doing all this follow-up and stuff like that, and it's not, I want to be very clear too, it's not following up that's bad or reaching out to people that's bad. It's when you're not precise, right? And so if you think of this through a digital perspective, right, like I can view on my YouTube the watch time, right? So if I see that, let's just say I can't see the watch time of a specific viewer, maybe one day it'll get there, but let's just say I could see John Smith has watched my content for 100 hours. How much more leverage and accuracy and precision do I have when reaching out to John Smith and say, hey man, thank you for watching my content. I see here you really loved this video. You watched it 4 times or something. As a bonus to watching this video, I'm going to give you the cheat sheet that was in that video and a free call or something like that, or whatever it is, right? The point doesn't matter, right? So when I'm saying following up and doing all this stuff, the distinction here is that you don't have a lot of data, right? And when you don't have a lot of data, you take action that is not efficient, right? And so when you take action that's not efficient, this is not a life that I want to personally live. And so when I'm chasing people down and trying to get them on the phone and all these things, it's like, yeah, will I make money? Sure. And if somebody's doing nothing at all, and then you put them up against somebody just taking that action and something's going to stick, like who's going to make more money? Like the person doing something. I know these things, right? But the real thing that I'm hopefully convincing you of or showing you the perspective of is that we live in a world where there is so much leverage, and for you to not use it and just stick to what you know and this old school model, it's like, it just to me doesn't, it's not the most intelligent decision. If I can make a video and get, hundreds of hours of watch time and people reach out to me and they're excited about what I'm doing, why would I go and run a cold funnel where now I'm getting myself into a job of trying to get these people onto a phone call or a conversation when ultimately I just don't have the data to know what they're interested in, right? And these are things I know. You can call them and ask and all that, but it's just not for me. So maybe it's that's me and my thing, but I just think with all this data of AI and machine learning, it's like, it's weird because, me growing up with a single mom and seeing how we're used to really making money, people are used to the struggle. It's a struggle out there. And in my way, like I said, I haven't had it as bad as the worst. I know that for sure. And I haven't had it as good as the best. And in a way, we could all say that, right? But, I didn't grow up in a way, I did grow up privileged, right, relative to other countries or other places of the world, right? But the point that I'm saying is that, we have been kind of conditioned to trade time for money or to struggle, and that things should be really, really hard. And I'm not saying things aren't going to be difficult and that you don't have to push through and you don't have to persevere, but I'm also saying that there is a more just intelligent way to show up in this world of business and use these platforms and use the technology available to be more efficient. Like, that's for sure. And whether you think that that's soft or it's not I'm missing something, then maybe I'm missing something. But when I look at the people that everyone's watching on their phone, yeah, they're grinding, they're putting in work, right? And they're working super hard. And I'm not here to say not working hard. It's just in the right vehicle, right? It's almost like I think it's a J. Cole quote, but it's just like, the good news is you came a long way. The bad news is you went the wrong way. And that's kind of what I'm saying is like, yeah, you could be working, like you could be running as fast as you can, right? And as efficient as you can, right? Like in the sense of how you run and how you move, but you could be running in circles, right? And if you're trying to get up the mountain, it doesn't matter how well you run and how fast you're even running. You could be running 10 times the speed as someone else. But if you're running in circles, like you're not going to get anywhere, right? And so this is what I'm referring to is like when you leverage YouTube technology, media, software, automation, systems, like you're going to just by default, the performance of you and what you're doing in your life is just going to raise because it's like, oh, like for me, I just got to make YouTube videos. Like I don't have to worry about this is what I'm choosing to do, right? But it's like, oh, I don't have to worry about going out and chasing somebody down because, through X amount of videos, if I keep posting, like I'm going to be able to hit this goal, right? So for me, I think being able to leverage these things in our business is just absolutely key. And that's where I lie on the spectrum. I do always think it's fascinating and beautiful when I see people that are cold calling and super, and there's so much respect that I have for people that do that. And like I said, it's just not, I know too much and have too much intelligence and genius, not like I'm a genius, but like I have too much pieces of the puzzle in this digital world where I just couldn't do that, right? Like I would while I'm on the phone, I'm just thinking like, dude, like I just have a better way to do this, and so like I said, I don't say I have this genius, like I'm Kanye West, I'm this genius. I'm saying it like genius in terms of we all have a genius, we all have a thing that makes us who we are. And when we use that, that's where life becomes most efficient and easy. And it's only when we start to learn the other way that we think it's not. And so we start to get into all these other things that really don't even make sense to us, right? So for me, I love the fact that I could easily make videos like this and add value, and it comes easy to me, and some people it doesn't. So I'm going to lean into that, right? So this is kind of the whole thing is like if I create value-based content and I give people information, give people value, they enjoy watching it, then they're going to do and reach out to me. That's just, to me, it's the most simplest thing ever, right? If I'm on stage and I'm saying, providing information about something and it's really good and people like it, like people are going to come up after the presentation's over or whatever, right? It's just natural law. So for me, why would I go? It's like if I'm outside that building of where I would have been on stage and I'm going up to people one-to-one, hey, are you interested in learning about marketing? It's like they're already like turned off, right? Versus they go into the same building and I'm up there and I don't even say anything. Now they're like, oh, wow, like this guy knows what he's saying, right? So for me, I think for you guys as a real estate agent or investor or marketing agency, whatever, this is just, you drive some traffic to these things and it's actually good. You're going to see the effect. People are going to reach out to you and it's just way better. So YouTube. So I like to focus on YouTube. Like I said, I've been able to design my setup. My cousin helped me where I don't have to edit anything and I don't have to sensationalize myself for views and clicks. When I've done reels, it's like you have to come up with this hook. And, maybe one day I'll be doing a bunch of reels and TikToks. Who knows, right? But for me, YouTube allows me to just be me. I don't have to like put on any sort of character and try to do any of this stuff. And there's a time and place for those things, but I love to jump on here, give a lot of value. I probably get way less views than if I were to do some clickbaity thing, but the amount of real connection and traction that I make with you guys because I'm connecting with you is, to me, I'd rather just have that than all the other stuff. So yeah, and I don't have to edit, and the half-life of the video is way, way longer because people will it'll continue to redistribute the video if people are either clicking on it or searching it. So, I have videos that have gotten hundreds of hours of watch time, and it just every day more and more hours. Maybe in a bit I'll show you, not on this video, but I will show you guys. I think I had a video where I was setting my YouTube watch time goals, and I'm excited to share with you guys what's happened since then. But so how does this work? I got into a lot of like theory and kind of like philosophy, I guess. And so how does it work? So we can use, how does it work in the sense of like, okay, I'm a business owner and I want to grow my business and I want to use social media, video, software, content, automation to grow my business, right? How do I do everything you're saying, Quinn? So you can use paid ads for direct response and sales, right? To generate leads. So you have that practical element of like, oh, I got this many leads today. I paid this much for a lead and I'm following up with that lead, right? You can do that, right? But you're going to be making a small profit in comparison to if you build this digital infrastructure of content and value. So I'm going to show you how we do that. So this is my perspective, is that Facebook, IG, LinkedIn, and TikTok is, at this point, it's more like your digital business card, and these are like the smaller pillars that support the bigger pillar. Now, like I said, everyone's view on this is going to shift. This is just kind of how I put it in my mind, but I could see it in a million other ways where TikTok's the number one place, right? But in my mind, I like the idea that Facebook, IG, LinkedIn, TikTok's like your digital business card. Like, how many followers you have? Let me just see some photos. Is this person kind of just legit? And if they're making a bunch of content, then it's even different, right? YouTube for me is like, there's not as many social elements, right? You can see the subscribers and comments, but it's not really like this social, platform, maybe like Twitter or IG where you're messaging, and it's a little bit different, right? So I like YouTube in my mind to be just the backbone. Like, it's the thing it's the movie, it's the movie. All Facebook, IG, LinkedIn, TikTok, these are the commercials, these are the clips, these are the promos, but I'd rather get people to the movie, get people to the premiere, get people to the real thing. Are there going to be way less people that watch it to completion? Yes, but the ones that do, if I'm able, the way I see it in my mind is like, if you're able to get, and this is like a low number, just knowing where I'm headed, but think about this, guys. If you can get, let's just say 20 people a day that you've built like a sufficient amount of trust with, right? That's 600 people a month, right? That are like, they actually liked what you're doing. They got a lot of value. You built trust with them, and like, they like you, right? Like 20 people, that's not even like, and that's not views. That's like whatever your views is and however many people need to actually like you or whatever that is, right? So it's not just get 20 views a day, right? It's more than that. But if you can do that, that's 600 people a month. And that's on a yearly basis, that's like 7,000 people, right? Like, if you have a higher end product too, or like a course or something, or like if you sell real estate, I mean, I just saw this couple the other day. They make YouTube videos. They spent like 10 grand on ads doing what I'm saying, running some ads to get the lead gen, but they just send people to YouTube, get them to build the trust on their own. That way they don't have to do all that manual work. 10 grand on ads, they made like 350 grand. So most people spend 10 grand on ads to make 10 grand, right? So, for me, this is where I'm going. This is where, like I said, I wanted to share this with you all because I trust that you'll be able to figure out how this applies to your business. But if you're not doing this for clients, if you're an agency owner or helping them with this perspective, or if you're a business owner yourself, an agent or investor, and you don't have this, like, I just don't think you're maximizing things, right? So, for me, like I said, if you're able to get 20 people, just imagine the effect that would have on your business. Even 5 people, right? Where they're watching every day and they're actually like imagine 20 DMs a day of people like really watching your content, really getting value, and really wanting to sign up for your service or buy a house or sell a house. Like, that's life-changing, right? And you can get little glimpses of that with ads where you kind of, extract somebody from the market and then they just so happen to be ready. But, the content is going to be that vehicle that really gets people invested into what you're doing. And so, like I said, I just focus on YouTube. If you go look at my Facebook, I do some stuff there just because there's a nice social element there. But mostly at this point, people DM me on Facebook or Instagram. I've pretty much stopped focusing totally on TikTok, and LinkedIn I never really did anything with. I'm just like focused on YouTube. Like, that's just where I'm at because it just feeds everything else personally. So I think YouTube is where it's been. I just think now it's like I don't know if creators are phasing out where it's like there's more room for these business type people, or if it's business people are now realizing this, but this is just where I'm at. Long form video, value based. That's where I'm going. So hopefully that cues you guys in on, what you can do or what approach you want to take. So lastly here, and then I am going to get into like how to do this. So you're a digital creator, okay? So 80% of people's perspective and reality of you is going to be based on your digital profile. So whether you love it or hate it, a lot of us, and this should be opinion, because this isn't like some, okay, here's the stat. It's just, this is me generalizing. Like a lot of people's perspective is like who you are to them on your digital profile. This is just an opinion, right? And so whether you love it or hate it, we live on our phones, and whether it's to go on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube or look up an Excel sheet or look up your email, like everything's on the web, okay? So if you don't have any sort of online presence or trust built, it's going to require more manual effort to get people to trust you and do business with you, right? So this is just my personal perspective that I think at this point it's getting better, but if you Google me, YouTube and LinkedIn come up, and then these videos come up. So this is good. This whole first page is pretty much me except for this, and that's just my name. Now, if you type in real estate, I think it gets even better. We have the LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, videos, school, YouTube. This is good. So this takes time. And it's, like I said, it's like I almost don't even know how I did it. And to be fully honest, like it's more just, not that I don't know how I did it, but like I didn't map all this stuff out and plan it. It was just like I've always seen kind of this perspective of like creating video and value and stuff like that. And so just through sheer kind of consistency, like there's stuff up here now. But what happens when people Google you, right? And what happens when people YouTube you, right? Those are the things that you should kind of start to think about. And it doesn't mean, like I said, I didn't plan all this out and have this roadmap of like, okay, do this, do this, do this. It was more just, okay, I understand the bigger perspective, which is like, have a profile on all platforms, and you're not going to be able to master all of them. But long form video is, think about this. These are little virtual time capsules that people can drop into and watch, and they may watch it and then, oh wow, I just saw 40 minutes of that dude and I didn't even do anything today, right? So this is kind of that as well. And yeah, like I said, if you add what I'm going to show you here, which is like a little bit of juice to it, which is just $5, $10, $25 a day, then the videos can get people to them, and then hopefully over time you optimize them based on the platforms, and then you ultimately just have, people that are engaging and wanting to get your stuff. So let's get into kind of the how-to and what it would look like from a strategy. So I use this kind of map for other videos, but just to simplify this, right? Let's say you're running a campaign on Facebook or YouTube or TikTok. These infrastructures are all pretty much the same. And obviously creating organic content is a vehicle to driving people to the YouTube as well. I just think depending on your level of focus and stuff, it may just make more sense to let's just say it takes 15, 20 hours a month to really do organic content well, like on TikTok or Instagram or those platforms, just to get a few people to go to the YouTube or something. It may make more sense to automate that process and just focus on YouTube if that's getting more of the the traction. For me, making some TikToks and reels. I mean, these are cool things. I just, like I said, I feel like my real truth comes out on these longer form videos, and sometimes trying to box it all up and make it super catchy and stuff, just like, I don't know, it doesn't really last that long either. So you get a reel going for one day and then it's pretty much done. So it's kind of like these little it's like sugar. Like, you can have a little candy bar and it for an hour it feels good, and then you're back way down. So I like YouTube. It's just way more consistent. So anyway, you have an ad campaign. All the ad campaign structures are pretty much the same. Facebook, LinkedIn ads, YouTube ads, they all follow the same general structure, which is you have a campaign type, you have like an ad set, and then you have your ads, right? Which the ad set is a set of ads. So just to keep this simple, let's say you're driving new people to an ad with a video or a lead magnet or something, and then they don't fill out the form. You have some retargeting, and you take them to, like, when they do fill out the form, they go to like a YouTube video and they schedule a call with you, right? So really the way this would work is, forget all this stuff here. You have an ad. Once people fill out the ad, right, like with just their name, email, phone number or something, you take them to a video, right? That's the only thing you should take away from this little part here, is just you run an ad, you take people to a video. When you take people to that video, the video should be an explanation or a tutorial or a informational session about what that lead magnet is. So for example, we have helped real estate investors make over $1 million profit with our Facebook ad system. And so one of the things I've given away is our templates that we've used to generate these types of leads. And so when I run that as an ad, we get super low cost leads, like $1, $2 for name, email, phone number. And when we use like a lead form, and then when we use that form, we send people to like a YouTube video, and the YouTube video is like, hey, thanks for downloading the template. In this video, I want to show you how to use it because the template's great. You have it there, you can copy and paste it. And if you're familiar with ads, go ahead and use it. But if you're not, you're going to want to watch this, and maybe even if you are familiar with ads, you'll take some nuggets away about how we use this to get our investors great results. So let's get into it, right? And now I start showing them, so here's the template, here's the ad, like here's how to use it, here's what to click, here's different ideas you could do. Right now, I took them from like this person who didn't know me to getting what they want. Like, oh my gosh, this template's made money. I want these results. Now they're watching a video of like me just showing them how to do it. And then by the end, they're like, dude, I want more of this. Like, do you have a course? Do you have a service? Or maybe they go out and do it. And then they say, wow, like I want to get more advanced. I saw you have this other thing, right? So this is how the strategy should really work, right? So like, for example, a big ad, and I'm sure that if I pull this up here, so a big ad in, what's it called? In real estate is like a homes list. So this is like I teach this one on a video, right? So let's see how many people are doing this. A lot, right? 13,000 in the US just on this, okay? So like, for example, here would be a good ad for like if you're doing like some sort of buyer campaigns, or maybe you're doing this for a client or something. So this is what people do. You do an ad like this. You could pretty much copy and paste this, and basically these all work very, very well in terms of high volume, low cost. So what begins to happen is, let's just pick one. So let's just pick one that does a lead form. Okay, so like this one. So McKee Homes is running ads, and this is, okay, I don't know where exactly this is. Bolivia, Leland, is that, where is that? Leland, before I say anything, Leland. Because I don't want to say it's like Leland City. North Carolina, potentially. Either way, the point is you're running this simple ad, and then look, yeah, North Carolina. So once people fill out the ad with their name, email, phone number, which I don't even know if they have that set up here. It kind of looks like it's just taking them here. But imagine just literally just this all the stuff I've said, right? Out of all the things I've said, just to simplify it into something as simple as what I'll show you, right? So I don't know why it didn't show the name, email, phone number. I don't know if maybe they removed that function of seeing that, which would be interesting and kind of a whole other thing. Let me see one more just to make sure. Here we go. Let's try this one. Okay, no. So I don't know if they didn't set up the ad properly or they're trying to do something, but let's take this ad. So, okay, they're running an ad to an exclusive list of Tulsa homes, and then after the lead fills out their name, email, phone number, this realtor is taking people to this website, which is not bad. But imagine they fill out this form for $1, $2, name, email, phone number, and you're systematically driving people to a YouTube video of you out in Tulsa, and you did like a 15-20 minute video of you driving around the city, and you're like, hey, my name's Brian, thanks for downloading this list of homes in Tulsa. I'm going to give you a walkthrough of some of these homes that are available on the market and just show you what's here and what they cost and some of the things you should know. Boom. And you're just out in the city showing people the houses. And for, like I said, this costs a few bucks to get this lead, and then from there you just have an automated system getting people on your video, watching your content, seeing who you are, seeing the houses available. And just, like I said, I know I went through a lot of stuff, but just by adding this on the back end instead of the website where there's nothing here, like, yeah, I can search, but still haven't seen Brian's face. Like, yeah, I may remember his name, but like, still haven't seen Brian's face, still haven't seen any sort of video, so I don't really know, like, okay, can I even see who he is? Like, I can't, like, I'm gone, right? Maybe search agents, there he is. And that's all that I see is just this, right? So, personally, like I said, I would recommend that, you add that in. Same thing with an investor. So let's go to sell house for cash. So you gotta, here's a video ad.
Hey guys, Cassidy.
Okay, well, I won't watch. I'm going to show one that doesn't. So these are ads too, right? These aren't education. So let's just say, like something like this, right? So they fill out the form and then this goes to a funnel, right? But imagine they fill out a little form on Facebook or something like that. And then it just goes to a video and you're like, hey, so you just filled out, you just input your information for a cash offer. It's going to take us about 24 hours to get you that cash offer. But while you're waiting, I want to give you 8 reasons why you should work with an investor over an agent. And sometimes maybe an agent is the right fit for you. But I want to walk you through kind of the investor approach, how we work, how we make money, how we calculate your offer. And that way you have an idea if this is something you want to do, right? And so now you're getting leads and then people are going through that thing, right? And I could go on and on about different examples. Like I said, there's ads, which are still great. And then there's like ads to automate acquisition and then videos that educate and warm up the prospect, right? So if you can add that on the back end to any of your offers, like just that alone is going to be very, very powerful. So, that's really how this would work, right? And then on the back end, you don't really need to see all this, but basically, let's just say they fill out the form and then you have like 11 emails. I've always just kind of stuck to that number, but let's just say you have a campaign of YouTube videos, right? And this one is like objection number one potentially, right? Like if you're an investor, why you net the same amount of money working with an investor as an agent, right? And I know both sides are going to have different perspectives, but either way, right? And then objection two is like, why selling with an investor is faster, right? Or, the vice versa, right? And then before you know it, maybe out of every 10 people, 1 to 2 click on a few of these videos and they become warmer, more engaged leads, right? So this is really, like I said, the plan for 2023 within my business, and I'm still kind of figuring out what that's going to look like for clients, but this is just something I'm really, really have a lot of strong conviction about, because you still have the practicality of like getting leads and automating that part of it. And you can still reach out, contact them. It's not like they're totally out in the stratosphere. You have no idea who they are. Still get their name, email, phone number, but also they're watching content to potentially warm themselves up, get a better idea of how you work, build some trust, see your face, see who you are. Then when you do reach out, it's like, oh, I saw your video, it was great, or whatever, right? So this is, like I said, the plan that's going to be put into place. I have some other things as well coming, so hopefully you guys enjoyed this, but I hope this helps a ton. If you have any questions about this, feel free to let me know, and I will see you guys in the next video. All right, have a good one.